My wife demanded, "I need access to your inheritance or I'm leaving." I said, "Leave then." She thought I was bluffing until she saw I'd moved the funds into an irrevocable trust that specifically excludes spouses. Her lawyer's reaction was priceless. Original post: I, 35 male, lost my dad last year, cancer. It was brutal watching him go. We were close, the kind of close where you don't need to talk to communicate, you know? He built a business from scratch, manufacturing parts for aerospace companies, sold it a few years before he got sick, invested the proceeds, did everything right. When he passed, he left everything split between me and my sister. After estate taxes and the split, I inherited about $823,000. My wife, 33F, and I have been married 6 years. She works part-time as a bookkeeper, pulls in maybe $28,000 a year. I'm a mechanical engineer, make around $94,000. We've always kept separate accounts. Her checking, my checking, one joint account for mortgage and bills. It's worked fine. When the inheritance cleared, I put it in a separate investment account at a different bank. Just my name. I told her about it immediately, showed her the statements, the exact amount, everything. I'm not the type to hide finances. She said all the right things. How sorry she was about Dad. How grateful she was that he'd been so smart with money. How it was a good safety net for us. How we wouldn't touch it unless we really needed it. That lasted maybe 3 weeks. Started subtle. We're having coffee one morning and she goes, I was thinking, we should really update the kitchen. It's looking dated. We renovated the kitchen 5 years ago. It looks fine. Use some of the inheritance, she continued, just like $30K. We'd get it all back when we sell anyway. The kitchen's fine. Well, my car's getting old. Her car is a 2019 Honda Accord, has 40,000 miles on it. Your car's practically new. I just think we should enjoy the money, Your dad would want us to enjoy it. I let it go. But it kept coming up. Different angles every time. I've been thinking about going back to school, getting my CPA. I could quit work, focus on studying, the inheritance could support us. I could take a few months off work, travel, clear my head, we have the money. We should invest in rental properties, use the inheritance as down payments. Every conversation somehow looped back to that money. Then one Tuesday night we're having dinner, I made chicken parmesan. She puts down her fork and looks at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Hard, determined. "We need to talk about your inheritance." Something in her tone made my stomach drop. "Okay. I want to be added to the account." I stopped chewing. "What?" "I should have access, full access. We're married. What's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. That's literally what marriage means. That's my dad's money. He left it to me. And you're my husband. We're supposed to be partners in everything. How can we be partners if you're keeping this huge pot of money separate from me? It's not separate from you. You know about it. You know exactly how much is there. I'm not hiding it. But I can't access it. I can't transfer money. I can't make investment decisions. I have zero control. That's not a partnership. It's my inheritance. It stays in my name." Her face changed, got colder. "So you don't trust me?" "That's not what this is about. It's exactly what it's about. You don't trust me with money. You think I'm going to what? Blow it all? Steal it? I think that money is separate. It's not marital funds. It's what Dad left me. Marital funds." She laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "That's rich. You know what? Fine. Here's how this is going to work. Either you add me to that account, full, complete access, equal control, or I'm leaving." The silence was so loud I could hear the refrigerator humming from the other room. "You're giving me an ultimatum. I'm telling you what I need to feel like an equal partner in this marriage. By threatening to leave if I don't give you access to my inheritance. By making it clear that I won't stay in a marriage where my husband doesn't trust me with money." I looked at her, really looked at her. This woman I'd married 6 years ago, who I'd built a life with, who was now sitting across from me threatening to leave if I didn't hand over almost $1 million. "Then leave." She blinked. "What? You heard me. If that's your ultimatum, leave." "You don't mean that." "I absolutely mean it. You want to end our marriage because I won't give you access to my dad's money? Fine, end it." "You're calling my bluff. I'm calling your ultimatum. There's a difference." Her face went through about 15 different emotions: shock, disbelief, anger, back to shock. You would seriously let me walk out over this? You're the one threatening to walk out. I'm just taking you at your word. This is insane. It's just money. If it's just money, why are you threatening to divorce me over it? She stood up so fast her chair scraped against the floor. Fine, fine. I'll go stay at my mom's. Give you time to calm down and think about this rationally. When you're ready to have an adult conversation about being actual partners, you know where to find me. She grabbed her purse, her phone, her car keys, walked out the door. Didn't pack a bag, didn't say goodbye, just left. I sat at that table for a long time. The chicken parmesan got cold. I kept replaying the conversation, trying to figure out if I'd misunderstood something. But no, she'd been crystal clear. Give her access to the money, or the marriage was over. I called my sister around 9 that night. Hey, wife just walked out. What? Why? Gave me an ultimatum about dad's money. Wants full access or she's leaving. Silence on the other end. Then, you need a lawyer. Yeah. I know someone, estate planning specialist. She's good, really good. I'll text you her info. Thanks. You okay? Honestly, don't know yet. Still processing. Call her tomorrow, first thing. Don't wait on this. I called the next morning, got an appointment that same afternoon. The lawyer's office was in one of those old brick buildings downtown. 3rd floor, wood paneling, diplomas on the wall going back to the 80s. The lawyer himself, older guy, silver hair, expensive suit, had this way of looking at you that said he'd heard every story and wasn't impressed by any of them. I told him everything. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he leaned back in his leather chair. Can I be blunt with you? Please. Your wife just told you exactly who she is. She values that money more than your marriage. That's what an ultimatum means. Believe her. I'm starting to. Good, because here's what we're going to do, and we're going to do it fast. Irrevocable trust. We transfer that inheritance into the trust, make you the primary beneficiary. But here's the crucial part. We write the trust so that spouses are specifically excluded from any claims to the assets. She files for divorce tomorrow or 10 years from now, doesn't matter. That money is completely protected, can't be touched, can't be divided, can't be claimed as marital property. How fast can we set this up? Draft by end of the week. You review and sign early next week. Transfer the assets and it's done. Once it's irrevocable, it's locked forever. Even you can't dissolve it. That's what makes it bulletproof. Do it. Smart man, your dad raised you right. My wife texted me that evening. Have you calmed down? Ready to talk about this like adults? Me, my answer is still no. Her, then I'm serious. This is a deal breaker. I won't stay in a marriage where I'm treated like I can't be trusted. Okay, that's it? You're really just gonna let me leave? You gave me an ultimatum. You threatened to end our marriage. I'm taking you seriously. Wow, just wow. I can't believe how selfish you are. That money is making you a different person. I didn't respond. What was there to say? She stayed gone. 1 week, 2 weeks, texted a few times asking if I'd come to my senses. I didn't respond. Then she texted asking to come get some clothes. Me? It's your house too. You don't need my permission. She came by on a weekday afternoon while I was at work, took a bunch of her clothes, some toiletries, left her house key on the kitchen counter. The trust was finalized a few days later. All $823,000 transferred. Locked tight. My sister and I as co-trustees. Me as sole beneficiary. The language explicitly excluding spouses took up almost a full page of the trust document. The lawyer had been thorough. 3 weeks after she walked out, I got a call from a lawyer I'd never heard of. She'd filed for divorce. Update 1. The divorce petition arrived in one of those flat manila envelopes. Her lawyer was someone I'd never heard of. Looked him up online, small practice, reviews were mixed. The petition itself was sloppy. Formatting errors, a few typos. This was a cheap lawyer. My sister's friend recommended a divorce attorney, Patricia. Late 50s, power suits, reputation for not taking shit from anyone. First meeting, she spread the petition across her desk and actually smiled. She's asking for half the inheritance. That's not happening. Oh, I know. What's funny is she doesn't know that yet. Patricia tapped the page. This is going to be a very educational experience for her. We filed our response within the week. Standard asset division, house equity split 50-50, joint accounts divided, retirement accounts per state law. But the inheritance? Listed as separate property, held in irrevocable trust, not subject to division. Attached the complete trust documents. Her lawyer requested financial discovery. We sent everything. Bank statements going back 3 years, investment accounts, pay stubs, tax returns, and the trust documents, all 63 pages of them, with the spousal exclusion language highlighted. Patricia called me maybe a week later. Listen to this. She put her phone on speaker, played a voicemail from my wife's lawyer. He sounded stressed. Patricia, hi, this is Tom. We need to discuss this trust situation. My client wasn't fully aware of, look, can we meet? Settlement conference? I think we can work something out here. Patricia was grinning like she'd won the lottery. He wants to settle because his client just realized she has zero claim to that money. He's trying to save face. What did you tell him? That we're absolutely available to meet and discuss settlement. Very available. The settlement conference was in Patricia's office. Big conference room, too much mahogany, windows overlooking the street. My wife showed up with Tom and, surprise addition, her mother. That's when I knew this was going to be ugly. We all sat down. Patricia's assistant brought in coffee in actual china cups, very professional. My wife wouldn't make eye contact, just stared at the table like if she looked at me, she'd turn to stone. Tom opened. He was maybe early 30s, already looked exhausted. So regarding the trust, this was established after the marriage. During the separation, Patricia corrected, after your client issued an ultimatum and voluntarily left the marital home. Right, but the position we're taking is that this represents marital funds that should be subject to equitable distribution. Patricia opened her folder, pulled out a document. The trust is irrevocable and explicitly excludes spouses from any claim to the assets. The money never enters the marital estate. It's not marital property under any definition of the term. We'd argue this was established to defraud my client of her marital rights, that it was done in bad faith to hide assets. You could make that argument. You'd lose. Badly. The trust was established after your client threatened divorce and abandoned the marital home. My client was protecting an inheritance, which is his absolute legal right, from someone who just made it clear she valued money over the relationship. If anything, her ultimatum and threats gave him excellent cause to protect assets she had no claim to. My wife finally spoke. Her voice was shaking. That money is supposed to be ours. We're married. You filed for divorce, I said quietly, because you refused to share. Because you gave me an ultimatum about money you had no right to. Her mom leaned forward. You've always been selfish. Even when you were dating, I warned her about you. Patricia held up a hand. Let's keep this productive. Here are the facts. The inheritance is not subject to division. Period. We're willing to discuss actual marital assets, the house equity, joint accounts, things you actually have rights to. But that trust is completely off the table. Tom looked at my wife. She was getting red in the face, that vein on her forehead starting to show. This is ridiculous. He's hiding money that we're supposed to share. He's protecting an inheritance from someone who threatened to leave him over it, Patricia said. There's a difference. I'm his wife. Who told him the marriage was over, unless he handed over money he inherited from his father, I said. You made the choice. These are the consequences. She shot to her feet. Chair rolled back, hit the credenza behind her. You know what? Fine. You want to play it like this? Fine. I want the house. The house has approximately $118,000 in equity, Patricia said calmly. You're entitled to half. That's $59,000. No, I don't want money. I want the house. So you're demanding he buy you out or you'll force a sale? Yes. I'd been ready for this. I'll buy you out. She looked shocked, like she'd expected me to fight. You'll give me $59,000? That's your legal half of the equity. Yes, and I want spousal support. Patricia leaned forward, pen poised over her legal pad. On what basis? You're employed. Part-time, I only make like $28,000. He makes over $90,000. That's not fair. You chose to work part-time. You're perfectly capable of full-time employment. The court doesn't subsidize lifestyle choices. Tom cleared his throat. We could argue rehabilitative support. Time for her to increase her earning capacity. Sure, you might get temporary support. Year, maybe 2. Probably $500 a month. You want to pay me $5,000 in fees to fight for $12,000 total? Tom looked at my wife. She was doing mental math. I could see the calculations running. He should pay my legal fees? He has money. No, I said, you have almost $1 million. In a trust that's irrevocable. I can't access it to pay marital debts. You wanted this divorce, you pay your lawyer. Her mom started whispering to her urgently. My wife's face was going from red to purple. This is complete garbage. You're screwing me on purpose. You screwed yourself when you threatened to leave me over money that was never yours. You walked out. You filed for divorce. You don't get to be mad about consequences now. Tom stood up. Let's take a break. 15 minutes. They left. Patricia looked at me. She's going to come back with demands, specific items from the house. Prepare yourself. She was right. 20 minutes later, they filed back in. My wife had a legal pad with a list, handwritten, probably done in the break room. She wanted the living room sectional we'd bought at Ashley Furniture for $3,200, the bedroom set from her grandmother, my TV, the 65-inch Samsung, my first edition collection of Asimov novels that Dad had given me over 20 years, my framed signed jersey from a Celtics game, even my car, the paid-off Toyota Camry. I said no to each one. You owe me, after everything. I owe you half the marital assets as defined by law. That's it. You don't get to take things out of anger. Those books are worth thousands. They were gifts from my father over 20 years, not marital property. You're stealing from me. Requesting property you have no legal right to after filing for divorce is closer to attempted theft. Actually, Patricia said mildly. We negotiated for another 3 hours. Finally hammered out an agreement. She gets $59,000 for her half of the house equity. She keeps her Honda, already in her name anyway. She gets her personal items and half the furniture, the stuff we'd bought together during the marriage, not family stuff or gifts. No spousal support. Each pays own attorney fees. We split the roughly $4,000 in credit card debt 50-50. She signed. But the look she gave me when she did, pure, undiluted hatred. You're going to regret this, she said. I really don't think I will, I replied. Update 2. Divorce got finalized about 6 weeks later. I paid her the $59,000 from my regular savings. Hurt to take that hit, but worth it to own the house free and clear of her. She moved into an apartment, told people she was staying with her mom temporarily. The temporary part lasted maybe 2 weeks before the real show started. First move, reputation destruction. She started telling everyone we knew that I'd hidden money from her, that I'd cheated her in the divorce, that I'd manipulated the legal system to steal what was rightfully hers. Mutual friends started calling. Dude, what happened? She's saying you hid assets? I kept it simple. We got divorced. It's over. Not going to argue about it. Most people understood. Some didn't. Lost maybe 4 or 5 friends who just accepted her version without question. Those friendships weren't real anyway. Then she escalated. I got a piece of mail at my house, hand-delivered, not through USPS. It was an invoice she'd written out on notebook paper. Claimed I owed her $14,500 for home improvements she'd funded during the marriage. I took a photo, sent it to Patricia. Patricia sent her a letter. Divorce is final. All claims are resolved per the settlement agreement signed by both parties. Any further contact must go through this office. Continued direct contact constitutes harassment. My ex started texting me anyway. Different number, she'd gotten a new phone. You destroyed everything. Hope you're happy with yourself. You're going to regret what you did to me. Everyone is going to know what kind of person you really are. Blocked the new number after the 4th message. That's when things got concerning. Her mom called my office, called my boss directly, somehow got his extension, told him I was illegally withholding money from my ex-wife and that authorities might be investigating. My boss, who I'd told the whole story to months ago, told her not to call again and hung up. But he pulled me into his office after. Your ex-wife's mother just called me. I know. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just wanted you to know it happened. I told her not to call again. If she does, we'll handle it officially. I appreciate that. You good? Yeah, just dealing with fallout. Patricia sent formal cease and desist letters to both my ex and her mom. Legal language about harassment, defamation, and potential consequences if contact continued. Quiet for about a week. Then my ex filed a motion to reopen the divorce. Her grounds? She'd signed the settlement under emotional duress, didn't fully understand the legal implications. And there were undisclosed assets, the trust, that should have been divided. Patricia called me. She sounded almost cheerful. Don't worry, this is a desperation move. She's got nothing, but we have to respond, and honestly, I'm going to enjoy this. Back to court. Same judge who'd signed off on the divorce. He looked irritated when he saw us on the docket. My ex had hired new representation. Guy in an expensive suit, fancy leather briefcase. This was costing her serious money. New lawyer stood up. His name was Richard. Very smooth. Your Honor, my client signed the settlement agreement under coercion. The trust established during the separation contains what should be marital assets subject to equitable distribution. Patricia stood up. She had this presence. You paid attention when she spoke. Your Honor, may I present a timeline? She walked through everything methodically. My ex's ultimatum, her leaving the house, staying gone for 3 weeks, the trust being established during the separation for legitimate estate planning purposes, the full financial disclosure during discovery, my ex's own statements in deposition acknowledging the inheritance. Then she presented the trust documents, showed the court the irrevocability clauses, the explicit spousal exclusions, the legitimate purposes for protecting inherited assets. The judge read through it all. When he looked up at my ex, his expression wasn't friendly. Ma'am, you were aware of this inheritance when you filed for divorce? Yes, Your Honor, but... And you had legal representation throughout the proceedings? Yes, but my lawyer didn't. Did you sign the settlement agreement after having opportunity to review it? I did, but I didn't understand that the money would be... That's not fraud, ma'am. That's you not liking the outcome. He set the papers down, looked at her over his glasses. Your motion is denied. The settlement stands as signed. Furthermore, he paused, let it sink in. If you file any additional motions without substantial new evidence of actual fraud or coercion, I will entertain a motion for sanctions. Do you understand what that means? My ex looked at her expensive lawyer. He wouldn't meet her eyes. It means you'd pay his legal fees, the judge clarified, and possibly face penalties for frivolous litigation. Are we clear? Yes, she said quietly. Good, we're done here. Outside the courthouse, my ex tried to approach me. Both lawyers moved to block her simultaneously. You took everything, she yelled across the space between us. I took what was legally mine. You chose to leave. You chose to divorce. You just don't like that there were consequences. I loved you. I gave you 6 years. You gave me an ultimatum over money. That's not love. That's greed. You're gonna die alone. Patricia pulled me toward the parking garage. Don't engage. It's over. We got coffee at her office after. She made it in one of those fancy machines that probably costs more than my monthly car payment. That's done, she said. Judge made it crystal clear. No more motions without serious grounds. Any lawyer who takes her case at this point is either incompetent or desperate. What if she tries again anyway? She won't. Did you see her face when the judge mentioned sanctions? She'd have to pay your legal fees plus penalties. No one's that stupid. Turned out she wasn't that stupid. I didn't hear from her again directly, but the gossip network kept me informed of what happened next. She'd burned through her $59,000 settlement in under 4 months. New SUV, some Nissan Pathfinder she didn't need, new furniture for the apartment, 10-day trip to Aruba, helping her mom catch up on bills, eating out constantly. When the money was gone, she tried to get a personal loan. The bank called me to verify employment and income. She'd listed me as a reference without asking. I told them I wasn't comfortable providing a reference for my ex-wife. Loan denied. Had to sell the new SUV at a loss. Moved in with her mom for real this time. The part-time bookkeeping job wasn't enough to live on. She tried to get full-time hours, but they'd already hired someone else for those positions. Last I heard, she was working 2 part-time jobs, her original bookkeeping gig and something at a retail store. Still telling everyone who'd listened that I'd financially ruined her. Meanwhile, I refinanced the house at 2.8%. The trust kept growing. Conservative index funds, consistent returns. My sister and I set up a scholarship fund in Dad's name. Gave out 2 scholarships this year to local engineering students. Dad would have liked that. Life was pretty good. Final update. It's been about 14 months since the divorce finalized. Time to close this chapter. My ex ended up getting a full-time accounting position at a different firm. Pays better than the bookkeeping job. She's still living with her mom, but I heard she's looking for her own place. Also heard she's dating someone. Hope it works out better this time. Her mom still badmouths me, tells anyone who'll listen that I stole from her daughter. Most people who know both sides just nod politely and move on. Some believe her. Can't control that. I've had to cut off a few mutual friends who kept pressuring me to help her out financially because I have the money and she's struggling. Those people got a firm no. When they wouldn't drop it, I cut contact. Real friends don't do that. The house is completely mine. Refinanced, made some updates, repainted the living room, got new furniture, turned the spare bedroom into an office. It feels like my space now, not our space. That was more important than I expected. The trust is doing exactly what it's supposed to. Growing steadily, conservative investments. My sister and I expanded the scholarship fund. We're giving out 4 scholarships next year instead of 2. Feels right. Feels like Dad's legacy is doing good. Got promoted at work a few months back. More responsibility, more pay. Been putting the extra money toward paying off the mortgage early. Should have it done in 8 years instead of 25. Started seeing someone about 4 months ago. She's a high school math teacher, has her own condo, completely independent. When I told her about the divorce, just the basics, her response was, "She gave you an ultimatum about your dad's inheritance?" What did she expect would happen? That was it. No digging for details. No questions about the amount, no hints about access, just acknowledgement that my ex made a really bad decision. We're taking it slow, but it's good, it's normal. No games, no manipulation, no financial demands. Just 2 people getting to know each other. My ex texted me a few months back from yet another new number. "Just want you to know I'm doing fine, better than ever. Never needed your money anyway." I didn't respond. Patricia had warned me about this. The "I'm doing great" message designed to make me feel guilty or get a reaction. I ignored it. The whole experience taught me something important. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. When someone tries to manipulate you with ultimatums, let them follow through. When someone values money over relationship, let them choose the money. My ex saw that inheritance as a jackpot she deserved access to because she had a marriage certificate. When I said no, she thought an ultimatum would force my hand. Thought I'd cave. Thought I valued the marriage more than my principles. She miscalculated. The money wasn't even really about the money. It was about what Dad built, what he wanted to leave behind, his legacy. My ex wanted to control it, spend it, make decisions about it just because she married me. That's not how inheritance works. That's not how marriage works. When she demanded access or threatened to leave, she showed me exactly who she was. Someone who'd leverage our marriage for financial gain. Someone who'd issue ultimatums instead of having partnership. Someone who saw dollar signs, not a relationship. I called her bluff. She left. She filed. She tried to claim money she never had rights to. The legal system said no. She tried again. The judge told her to stop wasting everyone's time. Now she's living her life. I'm living mine. We're both better off apart. The trust did its job. Protected Dad's legacy from someone who thought marriage entitled her to it. Looking back, that ultimatum was probably the best thing that could have happened. Showed me who she really was before kids got involved. Before more time got wasted. Before things got messier. To anyone dealing with something similar, protect yourself. Set boundaries. Don't let anyone manipulate you with ultimatums over money they have no claim to. If someone's willing to end your marriage over money they never earned, never contributed to, never had any right to, let them. The right person won't demand your inheritance, won't issue ultimatums, will understand that some things are separate, that boundaries matter, that marriage isn't a free pass to everything you own. My ex wanted my father's money, wanted to control assets she'd never earned. Thought an ultimatum would work. It didn't, and I'm doing just fine without her.